If you want to see immediate improvement in your CS2 gameplay, this video is going to give you 15 practical tips that you can start using today. We're going to cover everything from the most effective training methods that pros actually use, to advanced crosshair placement techniques, how to be an effective entry fragger and create space for your team, and even some sneaky utility tricks that most players don't know about.
If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 ELO player on Faceit, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip you like.
Now, Nuke is probably one of the rattiest maps that you can play, which brings me into my next tip, which is off angles. You guys want to find the most rattiest off angles for your positions, and a good example is over here towards ramp. There's so many off angles that you can play where you can hide behind this yellow thing right here and just hold for anyone walking out ramp. You can play down here in this corner, which is a really big off angle as well, or you could just even hide behind this box. You could play close right, or you could even be boosted. There's so many ratty angles that you can play, and it's really good that you guys go find which ones will work for you. Like a good example over here on the A site, one of my favorite ratty angles is playing right here on this off angle because I'm sitting so low on the ground that I don't even get cleared, and chances are when people are coming out hut, they're going to be clearing this, and then they're going to be clearing this right side, and then they have to flick down to me sitting in this little pocket. Even over here on the T side as well, on Nuke, one of my favorite default spots if we were going heavy outside was to play on this ladder because I can see the feet of anyone pushing door, vending machine, or hut, and then once I see them pushing, I can just silently go up the ladder and just hold for them to push into T spawn. Now, if you're new to CS, chances are you don't know how to entry, and it's actually a very easy concept. So first, I'll go over pistol round and then rifle round. So if you are a T side entry and you are the first guy going in, the first thing you want to do is just be a hard target. Your goal is to not kill anybody. Your goal is just to make space. So when you're running out hut, you just want to jump out like this and literally just try to take as much space as possible, getting to a good settle position, and then this is where you would start taking your duels, because once you make all this space, anyone that is obviously playing the A site is going to want to kill you running out because they feel that you are closing distance on them. So if I was sitting here anchoring A and I saw this guy jump out, I'm gonna want to come here and try to duel him, and then I have all this space here that's going to be filled by my teammates. Another example is if you were a CT and mini and I'm just jumping out and you're trying to just track me, I'm creating all of this space and closing distance on this A anchor where my teammates can just freely just come out of hut and just kill anyone playing mini, and then we can just double pinch this guy right here where I'm coming from this side, and then I have two teammates coming around this silo, and we can just kill this A site guy. So the summary of the pistol round is to just be a super hard target and try to close distance on the CT so it creates space for your teammates. Now on rifle rounds, entering can be a little bit more difficult, and it's going to come down to utility. So if you do play with a duo, or maybe you play with a team, this is something that is very important, and a good example is entering outdoors. So when you enter outdoor, you can see that there's a lot of angles I have to cover, which is top hut, over here towards nitro wall, one could be Asian, and then one could be playing in mini. Now if I swing in this position, you're going to see that I'm exposed to so many angles. Chances are I'm going to have to try to 180 on whoever I'm trying to kill. So in order to entry on rifle rounds is you want to eliminate angles with flashes and utility. So if we only had one flashbang, one thing that I would call for my teammates to do is just say, hey, flash mini for me, I'll entry outdoor. So when this flash is in the air from my teammate, I can just swing and focus on one side of the site instead of focusing on both, because I don't have to worry about anyone playing in this position at all because of the flashbang. If let's say we had more utility, one thing I could do is just ask for a mini smoke, a molly, and Asian. Now this is eliminating two spots I don't even have to clear. Someone could just flash above for me, and then now I can just focus on this side of the site right here. Now if I asked you guys how to play Counter-Strike, do you guys even have an answer, or do you have to sit there and think about how to actually play it? And this is a big tip because a lot of the super experienced players actually taught me this trick, and it's to have a philosophy on how to play. So a lot of you guys should have a role or an idea of the player that you want to be, either passive, aggressive, an entry, a lurk, whatever it is. You guys should have a philosophy on that role. So for me, my role is very aggressive and I love to take timing. So a good example is over here on train, where if teams are smoking T-con, but maybe we threw a sandwich smoke at the start of the round, my goal and my philosophy of the game is I need to eliminate all the threats so I can get a good isolated duel. So in order for me to do that is I would ask for flashes over. I would probably molly off Olaf like this, and I would swing trying to take an ISO duel on anyone playing up close T-con on this side. Because since I'm eliminating all of these threats from the sandwich smoke, the molly right here on Olaf, this is going to give me a nice clean duel with the flashes over to kill anyone playing aggressive towards ladder. So when you guys go into a Counter-Strike game, you guys should have your philosophy and understand on how you want to play the game, and this will help you master this, and then you won't be going into games just mindlessly switching up positions, playing passive, playing aggressive. You should have a good understanding on how you want to play. So when people ask you how do you play Counter-Strike, you guys will be able to give an answer so that people will understand on how you're playing, and this will show that you have a good understanding of the game. Now we're going to go over the best way to peak in CS2 CS2. But first, let me tell you about the Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. The favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade. And if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you, Skins Monkey, for sponsoring this video. Now, something that I came up with when I first started the game was how to peek with just one key, because a lot of people make the mistake of peeking with two keys, where if they want to peek top con, they might hold like W and D, and then they try to counter strafe with A, but they're still moving forward a little bit and their bullets are just going everywhere. And this is something that you don't want to do, but I came up with this thing that actually helps you understand on how to peek without using two keys, and it's just imagining a T. So whatever angle I want to peek, which is top con right here, this would be the straight line of the T, and then this right here would be the top of the T. So you can see if I just want to press one key, all I have to do is just swing at the top of the T like this. Same thing goes for over here. If I want to peek someone towards, let's say, jungle, a lot of people might want to press two keys coming out here, but if you just imagine a fake T just lined up right here, you can see I can identify on how I actually want to peek this angle efficiently. So if I get close on the wall like this and then just go across the top of the T, I'm only pressing my D key and then counter strafing with my A key. Now, since we are talking about playing different roles, the most important thing is to have a consistent role. So if we are loading up here on train, and let's say I was the B player, it's really good that I be the B player every single game that I play, just because I can master this position. Let's say that, you know, maybe you want to fill in a game and everyone calls the positions outside. Now I'm a CT on B that has never played. I'm probably going to sit here and spot like this, which is totally incorrect. You guys should be spotting like this with your feet. They probably don't understand that you can come up here and molly off ladder to block for your teammates. And there's probably no mix up or adaptability if you are just filling in a position, because you probably don't know any aggressive plays like flashing through the window to peek for upper, or maybe throwing the cancel smoke that lands up here for the molly so you can go peek ramp. There's a lot of things that you can do on the B site, but if you're new to this position and you don't really understand how to play it, you're just going to lose your team the game. So you want to make sure that you're understanding what position you're playing and you want to play it consistently. Now, if you guys want more ADR with your HE grenades, one thing that you need to do is grenade map. And what I mean by that, if you go into your cycle stats here in the scoreboard, you can see your utility damage and enemies flash. Now, this is really important on Ancient because as someone that plays Cave, if you're just throwing a nade every round, you can see how much damage it does after the round ends. So if you're throwing this nade and you look at your utility damage and your stats and you see that maybe it only did 5 damage, you know this nade is either too early or it's too late, or maybe they're just not pathing up Cave, which can also help you understand like, yo, they're not pathing up Cave very fast. I can come up here and take a duel if one of my mid players flash. So then you can just take this early duel on someone waiting for the nade. This also tells you if they are waiting for the nade. So it will tell you if you need to hold them longer, or maybe you just need to pause for a second and then throw your nade to kill them if they are waiting. And it will also tell you if people are playing a certain position. So maybe you want to find out, hey, is someone playing at this box every single round on T side Ancient? One thing you could do is just throw a nade off this wall, and chances are it's going to do some sort of damage if anyone is playing around here. And this will tell you if someone is defaulting in this position. Now, train is a good map to talk about this next tip, which is be adaptable. So if you're an outside player on CT side and you just keep getting rushed down and you're throwing the same nades every single round, this means that you need to adjust, where maybe this T-con molly that you're throwing at the start isn't good and you guys need to molly left side red so you guys can get up and take these duels and just eliminating this threat. Or maybe you guys need to start breaking the sandwich smoke at the start of the round. Let your opera get active. Don't let these guys just run out at you and just take the fight. You guys want to try to take the fight to them. There's a lot of things that you guys need to understand and analyze in the game so you can be adjustable. And all it is just simply counting utility and understanding the pattern that the T's are doing. You want to make sure that you can adapt. And if you don't know how to adapt or find solutions, if you guys just watch a lot of pro demos, you can find similar situations and then just copy their adjustment to what they did. And this should help you even as a solo queue, especially if you're someone that is playing the same position a lot and you notice that you are just totally getting wrecked. Watching a lot of pro demos will help you understand on how to adjust and what you should be doing to eliminate those things. Now, something really important is staying updated on the meta. And this is really important because there's a lot of things that change and that become more efficient inside of Counter-Strike, and it can happen during weeks, months, or even years. And a good example is over here on Ancient, where a lot of teams were starting to throw this smoke, but then the meta changed with this smoke where teams just instantly started to nade it, so it didn't even matter. And then there's also the meta right now where people actually aren't even going to be mauling jump up. They're just mauling the rundown right here where the smoke is at the start of the round, which is something that a lot of people may not even know. And if you don't understand the meta, or maybe you're not even caught up on it and you are a mid player on CT side, you could be running down mid and just be getting hit by this molly and be so confused wondering why they did it. And then you might peek out out behind and just die to someone in elbow. So it's good to stay updated on whatever utility is being thrown, because a lot of the pros definitely know what is the most efficient. Now, communication is key in Counter-Strike, because if I was an outside player on CT side and someone decided to swing to red and I said, hey, one's outside, my mini player has no idea where this player is. So it's really good that you guys understand on how to communicate. So if I was this outside guy and I was holding and maybe this guy swung, I would say one's red, because I know exactly where he went. So then my mini player can just sit here and then just hold for red instead of just swinging out to this guy and getting killed from red. Same thing goes for the A site as well. Learning callouts can be hard, but watching your favorite streamers can definitely help you. Or if I was coming out door and someone was playing this position, which we call nitro because of the nitro tanks, if I just swung out and said one's on A site, my teammates coming out hut and door trying to trade me have no idea where to look, because all I would say is A site. Learning these precise callouts will help not only yourself, but it will help your team because they understand on how to trade. Now, something that a lot of newbie players struggle with is crosshair placement, but a lot of people will tell you just aim at the head level, and that's something that I'm not going to tell you. One thing that you guys should be doing is aiming at the neck and aiming wide, because a lot of people would love to just wide swing inside of CS2. So you want to make sure that you're able to hold wide and hold at the neck. Now, the reason you want to be holding at the neck level is because if you notice when I shoot, my bullets are going to go up. Now, the way the hitboxes work inside of CS2, which I've talked about in older videos, is that the hitboxes for the head actually go around the neck. So when you start aiming at the neck, you're giving yourself a higher percentage of a headshot instead of just someone aiming at the top of the head where their bullets might go up and they totally miss the headshot. It's more efficient to just aim at the neck and then try to spray. Now, this tip starts out in CT spawn, and the reason is that you guys should have a plan before freeze time ends. So if I was the door player on a side of nuke, I would need a plan on what should be happening and what I'm going to do. So let's say they've been blowing door a lot, they've been throwing, the lurk smoke. I need to have a plan on how I can counter this, because chances are they can get down vent. So in spawn, I'm going to be telling my teammates, hey guys, I'm going to just molly door and then nade the smoke. So I would come out of spawn with a door molly. I would throw the nade like this so my mini player understands what is happening, because if I didn't tell him I was going to nade the smoke, he might be sitting here just trying to listen for outside. They blow open door and then they get a nice free kill on him. I want to make sure that I'm having a plan and telling my teammates what the plan is. Another thing as well is maybe I want to say, hey guys, I want to fight door this round. Then my mini player or my outside player will say, okay, I'll swing from mini with you. So out of spawn, I can throw this molly. I can flash off this wall. My mini player knows exactly what's happening, and we're going to double peek door because I want to just deny this pressure and try to take a good duel. And chances are it would be a 2v1 duel, because it's usually just one player sitting back door. Now, this tip is very important because a lot of people just play fundamental Counter-Strike, but one thing that you guys should do that will stray you a little bit away from the fundamental is making the enemy team uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is on nuke, let's say CT side, I was the outside player. I want to make whoever is outside just feel so uncomfortable that they just feel like they can't do anything at all. So a good example of this is a round start where I want to smoke glaive, and then maybe I come and sit here for a top Twinkie nade where I just hold for anyone that wants to default towards Twinkie. I want to timing throw this nade, and then maybe I want to just randomly throw a flash at a random time. And if I do this whole util set, I still have one flash left over. I have a heaven player that's ready to break these outside smokes. So when the smokes come in, I still have my other flash that I can throw, and I can just sit here and spam and then get a good nice nade break. And throwing all of this utility will make anyone uncomfortable. So something that a lot of newbies don't actually know is that there is pistol recoil on certain pistols, and the ones that are most important to know is the P250, the 5.7, the Tech 9, and the dualies. As you can see, if I sit here and spam the dualies, you can see my bullets are going above my crosshair, which means I have to pull down to counteract obviously this spread right here. And a lot of people actually don't know that. And it's the same thing for the Tech 9, where if I spam it, you can see that my bullets are going up. If you do have that nice trigger finger, you just want to make sure that you're pulling down with the Tech 9. Same thing goes for the P250, where if you see that I spam it, my bullets are going up. And then if I also go to the 5.7, you can see the same thing. So one thing to note with the recoil as well is that there's not an actual pattern that you have to follow. All you have to do is just pull down just a little bit so your bullets are going above your crosshair, and this should help you get a lot more kills. Now, something that a lot of people don't realize is up here on the radar is that when you run, there's actually a circle where you can be heard on the map, and this can help you guys a lot in clutch situations, or maybe you're a lurker, or maybe you think you have some sick timing and you need to run to an area. This circle on the top left will help you guys tremendously on identifying where people can hear you. So a good example is if you guys want to contact over towards B, a lot of people will run and then just stop like running up in this direction. But if you see on the circle and understand timings of the map, you guys should know that you have to stop right here at the stairs, or this cat guy will hear you because he has time to run all the way up. You guys should be playing a lot of deathmatch and retake servers, and the reason you guys want to be doing this because these are the most in-game situations that you guys can actually apply and train outside of just shooting aimbots mindlessly just thinking that it's working on your aim. Now, the one thing that deathmatch deathmatch will teach you is that you're playing against actual opponents that actually move. So if you were inside of aimbots and just standing still and just shooting, you know, left to right, not even moving, this does help your muscle memory, but it's not going to really help you when people are actually peeking. So just being used to angles, like for example, someone swinging a ramp and then flicking over to Palace, or maybe you're trying to duel this headshot angle in Con. This is something that deathmatch servers can definitely teach you, but the most important one is playing on retake servers, and a lot of pros love to play retakes because this is the most in-game situational training that you can do. So the two things that retakes will teach you is post plans on the T side. It'll teach you on how to use the little bit of utility that you spawn with, and it's also going to teach you on the positions to play, because for example, if the bomb is planted on B site, and let's say it's a 3v3 retake, if I come into this corner right here, if I do play this corner in a retake, chances are I'm going to die, and it's going to teach me that this is just not something that I should be playing. And I'm learning that by playing on a retake server instead of me just learning it inside of a pug and then losing elo because I played that position. Now, something else that the retake servers will teach you is on CT side is how to use utility and how to take certain duels as well, because a good example of retake servers is a lot of people love to hold W on the T side. So just being ready and just taking your time, you know, practicing your counter strafing, your crosshair placement, seeing common positions that people will play will set you up when you finally get into game. Because if you do play retakes on Mirage, you know that playing firebox, under bow, Tetris, sandwich are all common positions, but you can get constant reps at clearing these positions and understanding how to clear them just by grinding out some retakes. So then when you actually do get in game, you can come up here, you know, molly firebox, hold for him to swing. Okay, you know, maybe he's under bow, I need to, you know, look at sandwich. You really learn how to clear angles rather than just mindlessly doing it and getting reps in games where you actually might lose elo from. If you enjoyed this video, check out my last video on the 10 most broken movement mechanics you can abuse to win more games by clicking the video on screen now.